here I am at 73, sitting in my usual chair, in the same living room, next to the same man since I was 22. Except the only change is that he can't remember my name. He can't remember our wedding. He can't remember our children. He can't remember meeting me. We met on the day I became an adult. I wasn't supposed to go out that night as I had to attend school the next day, but I wanted to be rebellious for once in my life. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. A girlfriend of mine, Susan, came out with me and we went mini golfing. There were a few extremely handsome older boys in front of us, and Susan and I giggled, our laughter becoming louder and louder as we tried to act older than we were to impress them. One of them turned back and gave me a smile. Well, I like to think that smile was directed at me. It makes for a better story that way. Anyways, after finishing her game of mini golf, which I'm pretty sure I lost because I couldn't stop looking at that boy who smiled at me, the young gentleman in front of us asked us if we wanted to accompany them on the Ferris wheel. Without hesitation, Susan and I smiled and said yes. Thankfully, before I had the chance to embarrass myself, the man who smiled at me asked if I wanted to accompany him on the seat. I nodded and took his hand as he helped me onto the ride. I learned that his name was Charles, but he insisted that I call him Chuck, and he was 19. I learned that he was going to enlist, and he wanted to see the world. The night ended with a polite goodbye, an exchange of addresses, and a promise to write. But I didn't hear from Chuck for at least a week. I thought he was supposed to write me first, him being the gentleman and all. And just before I decided to throw my pride to the wind and write him first, I received a letter in the mail. It was short, sweet, to the point, and made me giddy with excitement. Here was a boy who wanted to spend time with me, who wanted to get to know me. I knew then that this was something special, that this was something worth remembering. Because now, as I look at my husband, who has grown and changed so much over the years, he still retains some part of that boy that I met that night at the mini golf course. But of course, he doesn't remember that. He barely remembers anything anymore. I cry every day when I walk into the room because he screams at me because he thinks I'm here to kill him. But then I also cry because he says he doesn't want to die because he's met a very special girl back home and doesn't want to leave her. But when I ask about that very special girl and how they met, he looks at me like I have two heads and asks, "What girl?" And then I cry a little bit harder. He's stuck in his days of war. He's stuck without a way out, slowly moving backwards in time until there's nothing left to remember. He doesn't remember our children or our grandchildren, and then looks at me like I'm crazy because I say he has grandchildren. He's become a complete shell of himself. I have to feed him, bathe him, and change his underclothes. He is utterly dependent on a person he does not know. And honestly, as much as it pains me to say so, I think of putting him in a nursing home sometimes. Those people are more trained than I am, and I could get my life back. But then my house would be so empty, and I would miss him terribly. Maybe more than I already do. I don't think he'd want me doing this for him. I don't think he'd want me giving up my life just to help him live a little bit longer. I think he'd want me to live out my years as full as I could. But then, there are times when he cries my name in the middle of the night and I'm at a loss for what to do again. But I can't do this all by myself. I can't help him like I want to. I can't give him everything I have because he already has it. He just doesn't remember.